Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters, and welcome and peace and respect to all the brothers and sisters in humanity. I am your host, the Friendly Muslim, and you are here on the Friendly Muslim podcast. So I'm just waiting for people to come in from all three channels. We are streaming live onto EA Dawa, Friendly Muslim, and Cov FF. We will be having people call in and having a bit of an open panel also. And it's a chance to catch up on the week. There's been a lot of different situations that have happened in the week, news developing from around the world. There's also been some interesting content that has been out amongst various channels within our brothers and sisters that are working together in the Dawah. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to catch up with everybody, touch on some news, and also touch on some week's events. And so there's a lot of people coming in, so welcome. Glad to see some wonderful faces and names. So let me just give a shout out. Walaikum salam. Yep, and also to Brother Hassan, Rajinder Speaker's Corner. Is that the actual Raj from Speaker's Corner? Um, I'll be sharing the link if you want to join in. Be good to have a conversation. I don't know about this. I don't know what this is all about. Um, yeah, but no, it should be good times and interesting to catch up on the week, and also some of the actual content that people have been putting out, like our brother Khalil on EA Dawa. There's some good stuff that's happened this week. Some of his talks. So we'll be sharing that also. And, our brother Cov FF was at Speaker's Corner, our brother Mohammed. So we'll be sharing some of his videos from his time at Speaker's Corner last Sunday. Some interesting stuff going on in there. And if anybody has any suggestions about things that they want to talk about, I will be sharing the link. And also, you can uh, write in the comments anything you would like to talk about, and we'll be able to cover those, inshallah. So yeah, now everyone's coming through. So what is the first topic of conversation? So I think brother EA. Oh, interesting. I'll make a note of that, Joe Baz, and something we'll also cover. Um, this week's been interesting. Some interesting developments on TikTok. Um, and it would be interesting that we cover one of Brother Khalil's conversations that he had. As a little warm up, he had a very interesting conversation with Brother Hamza, and he teamed up on one of his TikToks. So the scenario, I'll give you the background. Hamza was going live on his uh, channel on TikTok, and Brother Khalil jumped on, and they seemed to have a little bit of a conversation. So if you didn't catch that, I think this would probably be a good opportunity to have a little replay because I thought that was a quality moment between the two of them. So let me just load that up, and inshallah we can play that and get that going. But yeah, just to give a little bit of a warm up of some of the content that we've been doing and some of the stuff that's been going on here. I'm just loading that up right now. And yeah, that'll be the first one. I guess let's give a shout out to Brother Khalil and to Brother Hamza because that was a great video. If you didn't get a chance to see it, let's catch up with that now. I'm just going to get that loaded up. And there we go. Okay, have a look here. That's fine. And off we go. الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
scholars or those people. Yeah.
Well, yes, you do. Yes, you do.
No. We put our belief
So
on Jesus
where'd you get
Christ
your where'd you get your exegesis of the Bible from then?
from the Bible itself.
Which Bible do you read?
The same Bible everybody reads. It's are you coming up with a version thing? Those are translations, man.
Oh, okay. Which Bible do you read? Which one do you believe is the most reliable?
So which Bibles are there?
Which Bible do
I know
you
there's
read?
only
My
one Bible.
giddy aunt. Which Bible do you
It's a
read?
simple question, brother. Just which one do you read? Do you read ESV, NKJV?
Okay.
What version?
KJV,
These
NIV.
those are not Bibles. They are just translations. Can
Which
you pull up one
Bible?
verse? Okay. Hamza.
All right. I'll make it easy for you.
Pull up one
All right.
verse which all the translations, if they can differ.
Okay then. Read for me Acts 8:37 from your ESV Bible or your NIV Bible or your NSAB Bible. Acts 8:37.
Hamza. Same logic. Which Quran do you follow?
Can you read it for me?
International. Huh?
No. You don't understand what you're talking about. This is the problem.
It's the same thing.
Can you just do that for me?
They're just translations. And
all
your
right, I'm going to kick you out now. I'm going to kick you out now if you don't answer my questions. All right. Now I'm going to say it again to you. Could you get your Bible and if NASB, ESV, RSV, NIV, and read for me Acts 8:37 and tell me how it's been translated?
Okay, currently I have a NKJV, but I believe all say the same thing.
Okay, read Acts 8:37 for me from your KJV then. One second, Khalil. Assalamu alaikum, bro, by the way.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. I'm just getting, I got an NKJV right here also.
Read from your KJV, Acts 8:37.
Just a minute.
And Danny can read from his ESV. All right, read.
Just want to pause that to hear. Brother Hamza is on it. He doesn't let up for a second. He is ready to go, and he's loaded up. So when you go up onto Hamza's den, people got to be ready, because Hamza's ready for war. He's not taking. He's ready to go. He's ready to get it. And so you better be ready. I mean, he's just listing off the different Bibles, and he's ready to go. So when you get into the Hamza's den, whew, got to be ready, people. Christians, if there are any Christians, also let us know what version of the Bible that you like to read, and something I'd like to know as to what people find a popular Bible from our Christian friends. If you're in the chat, let us know what Bible you use and why. It's interesting to know which versions people like to read and what they find most popular.
Read from the KJV, please. Acts 8:37.
NKJV. I said I have NKJV.
I don't have an ESV, bro. You make assumptions too much, Hamza, bro.
Let's not get too way up. He asked you to read it. Let's just go to it.
Acts
8:37.
Okay.
Anyways, man, I'm gonna leave because I don't like to talk to people that make assumptions that are hypocrites, bro. See you later.
Hey, yeah, won't want to be here.
I think that was an excuse to be like, I'm next. I better get out of here.
No, I don't. Exit stage left. Exit stage what?
Okay. It says this. Acts 8:37.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right? NKJV. It says, Then Philip said, if you believe with all your heart, you may. And he answered and said, I believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God.
Beautiful. Read it from the ESV or the NIV or the NASB.
If your back or neck hurts even in the morning, it is most likely because you sleep incorrectly. The good
I think I might let some other Christians on. I'll let you have a play, Khalil. I have to leave soon, you see, so get my train. King David, are you Christian?
Alhamdulillah, brother.
Oh,
Allahu Akbar.
oh
Yeah,
boy.
okay.
Alhamdulillah. Ex-Muslim.
What about Mark?
Alhamdulillah, brother.
Brother Hamza, have you spoken to this guy before?
Alhamdulillah ala ni'mat as-salib.
Yes,
Oh,
I'm
is he? What is
Christian.
he?
I
He's-
see good
what-
conversation here.
What is he?
It'll literally get into a shouting match.
Hi,
Guaranteed,
Khalil.
100%.
I miss you,
Are you going
brother.
to
Alright.
read the verse from another version?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a very interesting entrance. This is someone that came in and normally starts shouting. I've been on TikTok, and this person who claims to be an ex-Muslim always comes in and just starts shouting on top of each other. So he came in, and as soon as it started, he started over talking everybody. And Brother Khalil warned that it might be a case that this person comes in and starts over talking everybody. And Brother Hamza didn't have any time for it, so off he went, and bye-bye. So that was a quick entrance and exit. But yeah, I mean, there is a good thing about just learning to talk and communicate. You get a little bit further than just shouting on top of each other. So a lesson for that person, and perhaps in the future he can learn to talk rather than shout over everybody. He might get further in the conversation.
Yeah, read Acts 8:37 from the NABS, NASB, RSV, ES, whatever, yeah. Which one you got?
Are you asking me or Brother Kali?
He's asking you, brother. He's not asking me.
I thought
I got it pulled up in ESV.
Okay,
Well, I mean,
Kali, let me make.
I attempted to
let
pull
me
it up
make
in the
one thing clear.
ESV.
Let me make one thing clear, okay? I thought he said, after I read it from my NKJV, you're going to read it from another version.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Let's
Yes,
do that.
That's the point.
Let's do that.
Because
And you said it says the same thing.
I only have NKJV.
Okay, but you said it says the same thing no matter which version you read, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So read it then. From NASB, ESV, RSV, NIV, New Living Translation. That's the funniest, New Living Translation. Thank you for the hearts.
Do you have one, brother, or do you need us to read it for you?
No, read it for me. I only have NKJV.
Okay, perfect. So, I mean, I don't have the actual one on me, but I can pull it up. Came on Bible Gateway, right? So we're at on Bible Gateway. We're at Acts 8, right? And let's go down to
37.
37, correct? All right.
Ooh,
so
yeah.
All right.
Thank you for the coral.
All right. So right here we got 36, right?
Yeah.
And as they were going along the road, they came to some water, and the eunuch said, "See, here is water. What prevents me from being baptized?" What does that
What
say?
happened to number 37?
Where'd 37 go? Hold on. There's 36. There's 38. Where'd 37 go? It says the same thing though, right?
Yeah, it says the same thing.
Yeah, well, unfortunately,
that-
what you didn't
but
notice
it's
is
not
that
there.
verse 37 doesn't exist in other versions.
Okay, typing error. Someone could have left it out. Those are translations.
They
but
had
it's there in
typewriters
the
back then?
original
This was a classic moment. Typing error. Yeah, unfortunately, there is no typing error. So yeah, it was a bit of a problem for him where he didn't think. I don't know which year, era, BC, AD, that he thought there was a typewriter, but yeah, no, that was a laughable moment in the whole conversation. Oh dear, oh dear.
Manuscript.
All right.
Okay,
See, the
okay, okay,
question
okay.
is, no.
Let me make it clear. Let me make it clear.
Gospel.
Let me make
Gospel.
Hamza. Give me 1 minute. 1 minute. Then you're gonna speak, right? 1 minute, brother. No, you can laugh all you want, but in the original manuscript, it's there, right? And if it's there, and that version did not include it, it doesn't mean it's not there.
I'll bite.
Okay.
I'll bite.
Okay. Do you believe you have original manuscripts?
Yeah, they're there.
You have originals.
You have originals.
Yeah, the Vatican.
Look at the shock on both of their faces. Literally, look at the shock at both of their faces when he says that.
They're there.
You have originals.
You have originals.
Yeah, the Vaticanus and the Codex.
It's
they're
not
there.
the
What century?
originals.
What century is called Sinaiticus from? What century?
Okay, I told you I don't know much about history. Okay.
Well, you said you had the originals. I'll make it easy for you, shall I? Acts 8:37 is not in Codex Sinaiticus in the Greek. That's why it's been removed.
So
that's the question. See, what you should do.
Okay,
You see,
okay,
listen. This is how sincerity and integrity work here. When
okay,
you
this is
realize
a word
something,
against a word, because
gospel,
no one is
gospel,
proving. Yeah.
gospel.
Okay, go
just
on.
listen.
Go on.
Just listen, please. Okay, when you learn something new or something strange, you should question it. So, for example, you said it might be a typing error. That's why it's not there. Okay,
No,
fine.
not typing error.
Look. The question you need to ask yourself is, why isn't it there? Who removed it? Why is it in the KJV and we don't find it in the NSB, ESV, RSV, NIV? Why don't we find it there, but we find it in the KJV?
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't it there? Now, just to say someone didn't copy it, but it's in the originals, is an ignorant thing to say. Because first thing, your oldest manuscripts are 4th century. Oldest complete manuscripts, 4th century. And it isn't there. So in your oldest manuscripts, Acts 8:37 doesn't exist.
Yeah, and actually, I went a step further for you, brother.
Yeah, you go. How about take it for 5 minutes? Then?
Yeah, so what I did was I went to Bible Hub, right? And I went to the actual Greek parallel to see if it actually looks like that in Greek. Let me turn my camera around. Right? So we're here at Acts 8:37, and this is in the Greek, right? This is in the Greek parallel. Here's the Greek text. Now it's supposed to have the verse under each of these names. Here's the Berean, the SBL, the Nestle Greek, the Westcott, the Westcott and Hort 1881, Westcott and Horton, RP. Whoa, there, hold on, there it is. It shows up there. Greek Orthodox Church 1904. That's the first place it shows up. It's not in any of these other Greek texts, which this Berean right here, this is where the actual Koine Greek goes. This is like the go-to book right here, the Berean. It's not there. The earliest manuscripts does not have it.
Okay, brother Khalid.
So wait,
I would have believed if you were holding the original manuscript with yourself and showing it to me.
But brother, the problem is that nobody has ever put their hands.
Gospel. Yeah. On that note, I'm going to say goodbye.
Yeah. Does he know what P52 is?
He doesn't know anything, my friend. He thought the letters of Paul were written after the Gospels were written. He doesn't know Matthew and Luke copied from Mark. He doesn't know any basics.
Yeah, Dead Sea Scrolls. No. Oh my gosh.
What's Mark? Mark, who are you?
Yes, I'm Mark.
How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing okay. How about yourself there?
Fantastic. Are you a Christian as well?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
I just
fantastic.
had a question about.
Which Bible do you read?
Just the original Bible.
Which one?
Just the Holy Bible. About
You
Jesus
don't have an
about
original, so which one do you read? Which version do you read?
It says Holy Bible. It says Holy
just the
Bible.
Virgin about the Virgin Mary and
Is it in English or is it in like Hebrew and Greek?
none of those Bibles.
Bible with the Virgin Mary.
Yeah, I believe in the Virgin Mary. Do you believe in the Virgin Mary?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
That the Virgin Mary gave birth to Jesus,
Uh-huh.
Yes.
and to for God to have Jesus to for Jesus to explain who God is.
What? We believe Jesus was
You
a
know?
messenger of God. Yes.
Yes, because God made Jesus for
Yes.
Virgin Mary to give birth to Jesus, right?
Right.
And so who we can pray to instead of praying to, what was it, the golden llama back in what, Egypt and all that?
Are you trolling, brother?
Are you
No,
just
I'm
making
not.
stuff up?
He said
I'm
the
not.
golden llama.
Yeah, because back in the days in Egypt, they used to pray to the golden llama.
No, it's the
Who
golden
did?
calf, brother. The golden calf is what you're trying to
Yes,
refer to.
the golden calf. Yes, that's what it was. And they didn't know who to pray to. And so God made Jesus so we know who to pray to. And that which was God.
I have to kick you off for my own sanity
Okay.
because you are talking gibberish.
Subhanallah.
I've got to go. Man, what is this? What is this TikTok Christians all about, man?
Brother, I don't know. I've actually been spending less time on TikTok just because of it. I'm like, I want to reach out to more academics because my brain starts hurting when I start dealing with some of these guys. Well, there was one Christian that told me a few weeks ago that that Christianity is true because the transatlantic slave trade never happened. And mind you, this is a 65-year-old black gentleman. He said the transatlantic slave trade never happened because when they were being put on the ship in Africa to be brought over here, that there weren't any engines or headlights, no electricity. So there's no way for the ships to have made it over to America.
Oh my giddy.
So we need headlights now. SubhanAllah.
Shadil, I want to thank you for joining me, but I'm going to end this live now because I'm going to get on my train.
Not a problem. I'm going to start a live up. If any Christians want to jump over, I'm going to start a live up. Just follow me on EA Dawa. And inshallah. I'll see you later. Thanks for having me on,
his channel, EA Dawa. No problem. Take care, dude.
Assalamu alaikum.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Yeah, so that was Brother Khalil and Brother Hamza chopping up chopping up oh, sorry, I had a bit of an overlap there. But yeah, no, it was a good conversation between Brother Hamza and Brother Khalil. Brother CovFF, so we're on CovFF also. Brother Mohammed's listening in also, and we will be looking at some of his videos. If you haven't got a chance, or if you're on EA Dawa or Friendly Muslim, head over to CovFF and hit the subscribe button. We'll be covering some of his content that he did last week at Speaker's Corner, inshallah. But yeah, no, what do you think in the comments about that video between Brother Khalil and and Brother, okay, great. Well, inshallah, we've got our brother, he's watching from work. So he'll enjoy his stuff that he's got anyway. But we've got a lot of stuff coming in. So that was interesting, that video with Brother Hamza and Brother Khalil. And what happened was there, as he was going off air, Brother Hamza had to go and catch a train, and he told Brother Khalil, will you go live next? And Brother Khalil went live also, and he had a very good conversation also with someone else on the a follow up, basically. So someone was on the TikTok, and then Brother Khalil had a excellent conversation as a follow up. So I think that was with someone called Daniel. So I'm just going to load that up right now. But that was a very good, interesting follow-up conversation that took place between the two of them. So I'm going to get that loaded up as we speak. And yep, get ready to share. Yes, we are live and direct, and we're having a look at some good stuff. So we will be, I'll be sharing the link in a little bit. But I'm going to be heading up with this next follow up because Brother Khalil, it didn't end there. He went and he started talking with someone called Daniel straight after he got off with Brother Hamza. So I'm just going to load that up. Here we are, ready to get going. And yeah, that was the follow up. So let's take a look.
Conclusion and
الرحيم
what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Daniel?
Nothing much, man. There's just one reason why I left the other live. It's Hamza just jumps to conclusion, and it seems a little bit arrogant on his behalf, man. But
Yeah, but I appreciate
rather
it. I
talk
mean,
to.
he's not here to defend himself, so I don't want to backbite at all. You're here with me. What would you like to talk about?
Well, not too sure, man. What's on your mind, bro? You got Islam's the truth, Jesus is not God, Trinity is false, atheism is false.
Correct.
I see that.
Anything up here you
What do you
disagree
guys
with?
The top three I disagree with, man.
Okay, perfect. So
the last one I agree with.
Okay, so you're not an atheist. You don't think atheism is true. So I mean, we could go down the route of the Trinity. Well, what I typically do is when I think about having a discussion with somebody, and if I believe that I have the truth, what I'd like to do is I'd like to look at their belief, and think of their belief like a house, right? And then if I want to help them build this new house, what I have to do is I have to demolish the old one, go down to the foundation, seal up the cracks, make sure we have a strong foundation, and then build from there. So if you'd like to, we can get into the Trinity or Jesus being God, however you'd like to do that.
I'm not too sure, man.
Okay, well let's just start with Trinity then, since it's the foundation, the very fundamental idea of what God is, right? So how do you see the Trinity?
The Trinity, like the word Trinity is not found in the Bible. The concept of the Trinity is exactly like how you don't find the word Tawhid in the Quran, but the concept of Tawhid is in the Quran.
I agree with you. I may be a little bit different, brother. I'm not going to argue with you about what Scripture says. I'll grant you right now that the Bible argues for the Trinity and argues that Jesus is God. I have no problem with saying that.
Yeah. Now,
Assalamu alaikum, Brother Khalil.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. How are you, brother?
Alhamdulillah, brother. All the better for seeing your handsome face. And good to see you. Thank you for joining me. Got it cracking. We just saw your first video with a Brother Hamza, which was unbelievable. Funny. Especially that moment when you both
Golden
said,
llamas.
No, it wasn't. That there was the part where he said the typewriter. He got someone typewriter, and then he also said, "Oh, we have the originals." And you both paused for a second and said, "You have the originals?" Your face, it was so funny. And but yeah, no, it was good to see. And then I brought everyone on because I know you finished that stream, and then Brother Hamza had to go catch a train, and you started up and you started this conversation with I think it's with Daniel. So we're sort of midriff on that. But yeah, no. So we're just having a little catch up on that. So we'll keep it going, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Your point would probably be to say that the Bible's false, if that's your standpoint.
Well,
Basically.
yeah, but let's just grant. Well, I mean, let's grant that the Bible says these things. I would say that it's on a fundamental logical level, logically impossible for any of these things to be true. And I would argue even that any Trinitarian that exists today doesn't even know what the Trinity is.
Well, it's something that's very, very hard to describe, because just like the attributes of God in its entirety, it's impossible to describe, because one point of God that if we can describe God to its perfection on who he actually is in his entirety, at that point when we can do that, I believe he stops being God.
Okay. Would you say that the idea of the Trinity can seem to be logically contradictory?
It does apply somewhat of faith in regards to what we Christians believe to be the Trinity. Jesus does, as a Christian, I believe that the writings of John are true, and he does make points of his pre-existence before the foundation of the world.
John 1, correct.
And also in John 17.
You can hear my audience of crickets in the background.
Yeah, just to
also
it's just so everybody knows, those are actually, and I can verify it basically, those are real crickets. They are not sound effects.
It's not a soundboard. Those are actual crickets in the background.
Yeah, so where Brother Khalil is, sometimes you can hear them. They're noisy crickets. We've tried giving dua. We've tried various techniques at the moment to get them to calm down at points. But we're just telling, we're working on it. But those are real crickets, not sound effects. Just so everybody's aware.
It's hard to skip past 3, though. I mean, we can read 2, 3, 4, and 5. I think that would give a better context of I would actually say that that's pretty detrimental to what the rest of the book argues. Like I said, I would agree that the book does argue that Jesus is God, but John 17:3 is that's a big one. Also, if you read John 12, starting at verse, I think 44, and read through, I think like 47, that's another one. That's another big one. But like, so I would ask, for example, would you agree with the 7 statements that the Father is God, the Son is God, the Holy Spirit is God? The Father is not the Son, the Father is not the Holy Spirit, the Son is not the Holy Spirit, and there's exactly one God. Would you agree with all of those statements?
So were you trying to go through the logical problem of the Trinity at this point? Oh, Brother Khalil, okay. Were you trying to go through the logical problem of the Trinity at this point? I think that was where he was aiming at when he was going through this.
Yeah.
Hi. I'll get us back on track. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. So 3 persons, 1 being. This is just, I don't want to go deep into it, just at a fundamental level. When you say 3 persons, what do you mean when you use the word person?
Well, a person in regards that in the transcourse of the scriptures of the Bible, beginning from Genesis to Revelations, they have different different roles that they play, or a different way of interacting with mankind.
So yeah, these 3 persons have roles, but I'm curious to know what you mean when you say they're persons. How do you define the word person? What is a person?
Person has character. Person um, a person executes judgment, and a person. Um, I don't know too much how I can explain it, but basically, the Holy Spirit is a person. You can grieve the Holy Spirit. That's why we call that we say that the Holy Spirit is a person.
So when you said that a person is one who has character, and a person is also one who enacts judgment, is that correct?
Yeah.
Does the being of God, the being, not the person, but the being of God, does the being of God have character?
Yeah, he hates and he loves.
Okay.
Yeah,
and does the being of God enact judgment?
Yeah.
So it would seem that the word being and the word person is the same thing. So why do you not believe there's three gods? Because it could be three beings,
that would be
right? That all each have character and that each enact judgment, right? Why couldn't it be just three gods?
Look, that I can't explain. We also, like, in regards to that, we also do accept that it says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God is one."
Yechad, yeah.
So that's like I've looked into it. The word "achad" as being unification of
complex unity.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was looking for. I'm not as articulated as you are. I try and be, but I'm not.
No, it's perfectly fine, brother. I'm not gonna try and make anybody try and look stupid. I'm here to learn, and I'm here to educate if somebody else doesn't know what I know. We're just providing information to each other. So, like, even on a very fundamental level, see, that's where I'm starting to have problems, is that even if we use the word persons for saying that there's three persons, one being, right? So you could say that Hero Israel, our God is one, or our Lord is one, right? But it's a complex unity. So what makes that complex? Like, what is the complexity, or what is the things that make up this one God, right? What does it mean when you use the word God? What does it mean when you use the word person? It seems like the way that you've defined person would match perfectly with what you would define being as. So can there be three beings in the one God? Or
well, the thing
telling you, friendly Muslim, you have to download Brave browser. If you download Brave browser, you don't have any ads when you're playing these videos.
Yeah, I'm gonna figure that all out to make sure it doesn't mess with my settings. But yeah, back to your regularly. I've got that back on. I think we're just at the end of that.
Friendly Muslim, do you want to? I have another good discussion that I haven't even put on my channel yet. If you want to, we can air it. We can air it on here.
No. Let's premiere that bad boy. We've got. I know you've got a lot of stuff in the stash, but no. We'll premiere that and give it the good that it needs.
Stuff stashed up that people haven't seen yet.
Yeah, so we'll keep that in the good pile. But yeah, let's just finish this off. But yeah, there's some good stuff coming up. But yeah, inshallah. Right, are we good? Right, there we go.
Just three persons, and then what would be the difference between a being and a person?
Well, a being, how can I put it? You have a human being. You can have a dog that's a being because he's being. He exists. You can have a cat as a being, basically. A being, but you can't have something that is lifeless that can be called a being. So more or less trying to articulate it, basically saying like a being is something that exists, that has life, and is. In regards for it to be a person, well, that's a different thing.
And don't feel bad that you're struggling trying to define this. I have discussions even with reverends and with academics and Christian philosophers, and across the board there's a struggle trying to define even the simplest term as person when it's being used. So, like, this is something that's highly contested within Christian academic circles also.
Well, do you have the dictionary meaning of person and being?
I mean, we can look up the dictionary meaning, but I don't think that. So let's just do a Google search. Define person, right? Person is a human being regarded as an individual. Obviously, that wouldn't work because the Father isn't a human being, right? So that idea of person, that definition of person would not work. There's a category used in the classification of pronouns, possessive determines and verb forms according to whether indicate the speaker, first person, the addressee, the second person, or the third person, which is third person. Individual, human, or being. Actually, colloquially speaking, just through the regular Oxford Dictionary, being and person are interchangeable and synonymous, which I don't think that would help out the Trinitarian view, because if person and being, and there's three persons, you could interchange the word person for being, and now you have to say three beings. That wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So
do I have an echo?
No, you don't. You sound fine.
Okay. No, because I just jumped from my data to my Wi-Fi to see if I had an echo.
So let's just say there's three persons, right? Let's skip past that problem just to kind of further the conversation. So there's three persons. What makes them all one God? Is that them sharing the divine essence?
You can see that God is the one that judges. He's a judge, but also there's different verses in the Bible that says that all judgment has been given unto Jesus. But we know that God is the everlasting judge.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing in common that they share.
Okay.
Jesus says in the book of Revelations that he's the Alpha and the Omega.
Mm-hmm.
In John 17, after he says that he was sent by God, he also says, Lord,
bestow me with the glory that I had with you before the world was.
Yeah, so they shared the same glory. But at the same time, you can say, well, it's a contradiction. God doesn't share his glory with anybody. So you can take that as a contradiction or an affirmation.
Mm-hmm. If you say that Jesus is God, then God's not sharing his glory. If Jesus has it, the issue would be is when Jesus actually in the Bible, he shared his glory with his disciples. That's where the problem was.
Okay.
Because it seems like if God he doesn't share his glory, only God has his glory, he doesn't share it with anybody. You could make the claim that Jesus is God, therefore it's not contradictory. But then would you then say that the disciples are God because they shared in Jesus' glory? And if Jesus is God, then the disciples shared in God's glory.
Can you take me to them verses?
Yes, I can. But real quick, while I'm getting there, the point of why I brought up this divine essence is that normally divine essence is described as the functions and actions of what God does, and all three of these persons share in those actions. When one does that action, like you said, the invoking of judgment, right? All three persons invoke judgment because they share this divine essence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then you would look at some other aspects and go ahead, brother.
Yeah, sorry, man. I don't mean to jump in.
You're fine.
Be rude. And this is in one point why there's, I think it's in one of the Psalms, where Jesus actually quotes as well. It says, "Didn't also God say that you are gods?" That is talking about the word Elohim, I think, in regards to meaning the people that were in power that exercise judgment, according to the Torah, I think it is. So they sat on the judgment seat, basically.
Okay, so we're looking right here. Uh-oh.
I can freely look. Oh, it's fine. Okay. All right. Fine. I got you. Right. Perfect. Let's keep it going then. Right. All right.
So at the beginning, it says, when Jesus had spoken these words, he lifted his up to the eyes in the heaven and said, and this is where he goes through, this is John chapter 17, where he goes through, and this is eternal life, that they know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom you have sent. Goes down to verse 5, and now, Father, glorify me in your presence with the glory that I had with you before the world existed. I have manifested your name to the people who gave you out of the world. We keep going down and we get to verse 20. It says, I do not ask for these only, but also for those who will believe in me through their word, that they may all be one. Just as you, Father, are in me, and I in you, that they also may be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. The glory that you have given me, I have given to them, that they may be one, even as we are one. I in them and you in me, that they may become perfectly one, so that the world may know that you sent me and love them even as you have loved me. So he's talking to his closest followers, his disciples, or he's talking to the Father, but he's talking about his disciples. And it says, the glory that you, the Father, have given me, I have given to them. So it seems as if the disciples are also sharing in the glory that God doesn't share with anyone but himself.
Okay, I understand that. I understand what you're getting at. That's something that I don't know how to explain. Like I say, it's like I don't have the answers for everything, and my faith is not based around the answers or the knowledge that I have. My faith is also based around where it also says in the book of James around the way that I conduct myself as well. If I say that I know God but I don't have love, well, basically I'm a liar. My faith and my religion also must stand around also the good deeds that I do. I'm not saying that these deeds justify me, but it's not also has to do with so much knowledge, because there are people that have lots of knowledge but will also be counted to them as condemnation. So knowledge doesn't save, it just makes you accountable. If you get what I mean.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just some stuff to think about. But Daniel, I appreciate you coming. I do have some other people down in the request box wanting to come up, but I'm going to go ahead and give you a follow. And if you'd like to follow me, we can have a further conversation in the future.
You were just so nice to talk to, Khalil. You know, wrapped it up nicely. Said, you know, I'm going to follow you, you follow me back, and let's have a good old conversation in the future.
Absolutely.
But yes,
that's how you keep people coming back for more conversation. You don't just try and like smush them like a bug on the first go. You keep having them come back for better conversation.
Oh, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. I just noticed something, and I think it needs to be highlighted. Oh, I've noticed something new. I think it needs to be highlighted, and I'm sorry, but mashallah, my brother's looking handsome today in his
Don't do that.
new clothing. Ooh, I like that. I like that.
Don't do that.
Whoa, love that. Alhamdulillah. Look at the brother. Liked it. Yeah, no, it's his a new piece of gear that the brother got ordered, and looking good, brother. I like it. I like it.
Exactly. Oh, you just noticed this?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I didn't zoom in. I mean, I was just, you know, your Noor was distracting me, and then then I just got a chance to catch up on the get up. But yeah, no, I like that. I'm trying to get my brother some stuff, and yeah, I'm glad.
These sizes, brother. These sizes are just like confusing as can be.
Yeah.
Because it's so confusing, because like this right here, I normally get like extra large when it comes to like shirts, extra large or maybe 2X sometimes. This is size is like a 4X. I don't know how, but I mean that's what they have it as.
Yeah, no, brother, I absolutely agree, and I understand the difficulty. I mean, I ordered an extra large, didn't realize it was a Chinese or a Japanese extra large when it came in, and needless to say,
so it was basically preemie. It was like newborn clothes.
It was like I don't know what came through, like it fit my hand. So I was kind of like, yeah, you got to be careful when you're ordering stuff with sizes and measurements and things like that, because for some of us. It's a little bit difficult at times, especially on the taller end of the scales. But yeah, no, that was another good conversation that you had with Daniel. And the people have spoken, so we've listened. So Brother Khalil will be putting out the video, premiering that TikTok soon, inshallah. I did say I was going to open it up also, and so I'm going to put it in here, and we'll see if we've got some friends that want to join, have a little bit of a chit chat on the old, and that's going out through all channels. But yeah, no, if there's any brothers or sisters that want to come up, have a little bit of a conversation. In the meantime, something that Brother Jordan put up on his channel was a nice, short, sweet sort of conversation, an outline of his story to Islam. So I'm going to quickly share that. It's a very short video that our beautiful brother Jordan shared. I think it was a nice little. There we go. And if you don't know, now you know. Brother, now you know. Brother Jordan, yeah, and Brother Jordan had a great week. If if you're not subscribed, go see Brother Jordan and on his channel Jordan M. But yeah, no, he had his Return of the Dai, where he spoke to Khalil from Kalamology. He started doing the Guide to Sound Creed also, which was a great series that he started. And also he had his Supermalt time, and then he had a bit of a talk where Dr. Imran called in. So he's had a good week. Also, people might know Will, also known as Juddy Huck. This was a brother from Australia, I believe, that had a conversation and was watching Jordan M, and came to Islam, and did his Shahada with brother Jordan M. So they were doing a catch up and seeing uh, his journey so far into Islam. Uh, he had an open panel. Some of our brothers, like I think it was TPO and Snake Juice, came up on there and had a conversation. Uh, Brother Jordan also was at roadside where there was an accident and put his perspective. And yesterday he put his journey to Islam, which is what I'm going to play now for you, brothers and sisters.
As a young man, I never really asked myself the big questions. Why would I? Life was full of fun times. I was raised by an incredibly strong woman, and I had lots of friends around me. In life, we're all looking for that fulfillment. And with the successes I had in my life, I thought I was on track. This is my niece, Iman, and she was being raised as a Muslim. This concerned me with all the misconceptions I had about this religion. So I started to research Islam, and my journey led me to meeting these beautiful brothers. I learned from them and saw what it was to be a good Muslim. My step into Islam had given me that fulfillment I always looked for, a direct connection to my Creator. I believe I've become a far better version of myself, and I've never looked back.
Subhanallah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, subhanallah, brother Jordan, another beautiful brother, absolutely beautiful brother, and always supportive, always trying to look after the ummah, and again, just to touch on his story. But yeah, I think it's been 5-6 years now, I'm not too sure, that he's been on his journey. But yeah, no, it's been interesting. Sorry. Silences. Yeah.
Emotional Muslim.
Emotional Muslim alert. Yeah. But it happens. But yeah, no, we had an interesting week ourselves, and we had someone who's joined us. We also did a stream called Armageddon, where we had our brother Richard, and we also had another brother who was on the other opposing part of Team Friendly Zagros, and he's joining us right now. How are we doing, Zagros?
Good, man. How are you? How are you, Khalil?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you, gentlemen.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah, no, I said I dropped him a little meeting. I was going live, and always good to catch up with my brother Zagros. Thank him again for coming and showing us Sandbox. And it was fascinating to me how they sort of model what's going on in the universe, and you sharing that with us also. And you've got some fans. I like this guy, Zagros. Nice guy. Yeah.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. That's very nice.
But yeah, no. This was so we were just sharing some of the conversations that Brother Khalil had on TikTok, and then Brother Jordan M, who also came to sort of Islam, and we were sharing his story. And like he's a good solid brother. Always caring about people and dialogue, and having those sort of conversations. So it was nice. How has your week been in general? Any news? I really feel, because you've got so much knowledge about what's going on in terms of science and space. Um, I think whenever we can catch up and you can actually give me any lowdown or share any information about what's going on in the universe, um, or these updates, I would love to hear that from you.
Sure,
Uh,
bro. I'd love that too. Like, it's my passion. I always love talking about that. So anytime you want to do like I don't know, like a little space episode, I can definitely join in and tell you, what I know.
Yeah, no, because I mean, some of this stuff is really fascinating, and especially what's being picked up on the telescope, the new telescope that's out there. See, what's the name of that telescope? I've lost my. It's just gone out of my mind.
The
It's not the
James Webb.
Hubble. That's it, the James Webb.
Yeah.
And I saw that he also put a what do you call it? He put a something came out that they saw something that they hadn't seen lately. Are you familiar with anything that's happened in terms of any unidentified objects that were out in space at all?
I'm not quite sure what exactly you're mentioning, but like basically what James Webb is doing is it's allowing us to see like much further distances and further back in time, basically, with a much higher resolution. So we can get much more information as to the chemical composition, like the precessions and the orbits of various like objects and of different that emit different wavelengths of light, visible or invisible. So it has a panoply of these detectors and much more advanced detectors, of course, compared to Hubble, which will enable us to see much further with much greater detail.
Assalamu alaikum, sister.
Walaikum salam. I've been asked to make an appearance due to a comment.
Hello.
Can we address that slight and quickly, friendly Muslim?
Which comment is that? No women want to become Muslim. Oh wow!
I don't think that's true, but
yeah, I mean,
Wrong.
I personally have many family members who are Muslim, like all of them.
She took her shahada, Shilnai, just so you know, she took her shahada on Christmas Day of last year. So when all y'all guys were doing pagan rituals,
having trees in your house,
she was becoming a Muslim on her own accord with her own choice. Thank you. I just wanted to mention that.
Can I go now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, what was that guy's name? It had something to do with Bill
Shilnoy
Nye.
the Science Goy.
Really?
Was that? Oh yeah, I mean, Shilnoy the Science Goy. Oh yeah.
I just wanted to correct the
thought you
brother
was-
that no, there are plenty of women that want to become Muslim.
I thought you were saying it
Might
funny.
be an
but
Aussie Tunni.
yeah, I thought you were saying it a funny way, but no, you can't actually pronounce
No,
that
and-
any other way. Shilnoy the Science Goy. Yeah, you can't actually say it any other way.
Honestly, can I say something about it without? Do I have to be on camera?
No, you don't. They can hear you.
No, we can hear you from across the platform.
But honestly, I think like especially those of us who have come from a Christian framework, it's honestly a relief to know that there's a way by which we can understand Allah and have a correct framework of what He really looks like without having to be stomped on as far as our rights. And like, I have a voice here. I didn't have a voice in Christianity. I was just labeled boisterous and obnoxious. And well, that may be true. I'm not crapped on for that here. Like I'm actually allowed to have a voice and an opinion, and when you're corrected in such a way, like last night when we were praying and you were just explaining something that I didn't know before, right? It was with such kindness and tenderness versus like just you're wrong, like it's we want to understand God, and when Islam gives us the framework by which to do that without us having to diminish ourselves, it's quite a relief. So yeah, I would say that honestly, more than men, I could see why men don't want to be a Muslim, because y'all got way more responsibilities here than anywhere else. You are given not just the authority, but also the responsibility. Christianity for men is a cop-out because you have the authority and no responsibility.
You could just put everything, all of our sin, you just put it on Eve. It was her fault.
It was all her fault. That doesn't sound like a weak man cop-out to me.
Babe, this is supposed to be a friendly channel.
Oh, sorry, sorry, friendly.
It's all right, sister.
But anyways, he says anecdotal evidence, LOL. Brother, you had made a strong claim that no woman wants to be Muslim. I brought a woman on who wants to be Muslim, which completely divulges your entire claim. That's all that I wanted to do, but thank you.
Tell me you make a claim with no evidence without telling me you make a claim with no evidence.
Did I force you to come on here, babe?
No.
Okay, thank you.
You asked me to, and I just was like, oh, I like to actually,
Shil and I's just doubling and tripling and quadrupling down.
Khalil, are you sure you were not showing your wife your nunchaku?
Okay.
Are you sure you were not showing your miswak nunchaku under the table?
Actually, no, but I do have my miswak with me. Let me go grab it.
Oh.
Yeah, he if he's left home without his miswak, we're in trouble. But yeah,
my uncle had miswak. He used to pick his teeth like all the time with it. It was kind of funny watching it.
Yeah, Khalil was looking for a flavored miswak. But yeah, it's a interesting comment, and obviously, look, we can bring it up. And yeah, Khalil's, if I don't see a miswak flying around Khalil, then there's something wrong. Speaking of miswaks flying around, we might want to share that little clip of Brother Khalil. Sister, if you can hear me, Brother Khalil, can you ask if I can share that story when she was shopping? Because it was so profound to me, and her experience. Yeah, can I? Is that a thumbs up? Okay,
Whatever you
all
want
right,
to do,
cool.
bro.
So my beloved sister was out shopping. Brother Khalil was, hibernating because he'd been working hard, and we had a conversation because she was going grocery shopping in a place where people were kind of looking funny, and she just wanted to talk while she was shopping, and she was wearing her hijab, and she's in a mainly predominant Christian setting, and so some lady made a comment, but our beloved sister, as is the sunnah, kept smiling, kept on doing her thing, and shopping, and we were just talking, and she made the most profound statement. She said, nobody paid attention to me until I started covering up. Now that I cover my head up, and now that I've covered up, now all the attention's on me. Whereas before, when I was, wearing whatever, there was no attention on me. But now that I feel that I'm more modest, I'm covering up. Now there's an issue where I get looks and comments and things of that nature. And that was the most profound thing I kind of heard, that on a reverse scale, covering yourself or being free to cover up, draws more attention than not exposing yourself. But yeah, no, it's an interesting paradigm that the sister actually has to go through on there. Yeah, so some people do wear and some people don't, and that's something that people have their own personal journeys to deal with. But yeah,
By
moving
the way,
on.
was it like a bad kind of attention that she started getting when she wore the hijab, or Like,
Yeah,
was it?
it's uncomfortable. It's
Mm,
uncomfortable. People making comment, people staring, and she's the only one wearing. Oh, she did bump into someone, and got a bit of reassurance. One of the sisters in her job was there, but she's in a predominantly Christian area,
mm. You
and
guys are in Ohio, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
So it's different for different places. I mean, brother walks in with his kufi on. Obviously they're gonna be, there's a good old white boy from Ohio wearing a kufi. What's that all about with these Muslims? So and our brother Haroon, obviously in Mississippi, being a Muslim also, and there's things that he has to contend with also. So I think we've all got different struggles in different parts of the world in terms of what we're actually dealing with. But yeah, no, it's something interesting that we have to contend with. Um, so, brother, anything else, Zagros, that you'd like to add from what's going on in the world, or any perspectives, or anything on the internet that you've seen that you wanted to talk about this week?
Like, since it's still kind of relevant, the current thing, I guess. What's like your views on the hijab when it comes to like Sharia ruled countries? And you may, yeah, like feel free to assume your own like version of Sharia and what you deem to be like Sharia worthy in terms of legislation, laws, hijab, women, all that.
Yeah, I mean it's how it's applied in different places. Different countries have adapted different values and seen what's best. I think for me, I'm at a stage where I want to look at different models. It's something I actually want to study into further as to what systems are really working where and how are they working. And I think that's a shortcoming on my part where I need to take some time out and look at different Islamic countries and how they work with different uh, types of people. Like how does it work in Saudi Arabia? How does it work in Qatar? And there are different places where there are different segments. How are they doing it in Dubai? There's things that I'm actually just not aware of. So that is something that I need to look at. I mean, touching on this thing, obviously there's ongoing demonstrations going on in Iran also, where that's really it's I've actually the shift that I did see was that I've seen women in their hijabs actually protesting with women who are protesting by taking off their hijabs and shaving their hair off, maybe, or cutting their hair. So, further research has really quantified the fact that these protests are not really about the hijab in a lot of ways. It is about government and the conflicts that's going on in that part of the world, basically. So it's something that I'm going to be touching on possibly on Wednesday. I just wanted to catch up on a bit more information on that region. But yeah, it is something that we've got to contend with. But also, it's how you deal with the people. And what we've seen in that area is some brutality, which just is beyond anything that I've seen. A grown man picking up a woman and throwing her to the floor, without any warning. I mean, there's 8 men, and there's one tiny 5'6" girl, 5'4" girl, and just lifts her off her feet and throws her down. That is not permissible. That is not the way to conduct any sort of
Bro,
reasonable.
you're such a misogynist. Don't you know that women can do anything?
No, I know, I understand that, bro. But this is not
Don't
about.
you know that like a woman can beat Brock Lesnar?
Yeah, a woman
But
could be Brock
anyhow,
Lesnar. A woman could be Brock Lesnar, but I mean, just I mean, just to see it. Actually, the reason I haven't covered it is because some of the videos are too difficult for me to actually show, because it's just 8 men grabbing a sink, like just grabbing her and throwing her to the ground. How she didn't have trauma was just lucky that her backpack hit the cornerstone of the pavement basically and protected her head from actually being completely smashed against the floor. So I
Yeah,
think
I
that's
think I
something that
know which video you're talking about.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's really difficult for me to see, bro. And so I'm trying to get enough information on that is actually sort of something to look at. But yeah, no, I mean it is how things are introduced. It's how you treat the people, and how the people are embraced, and the demographic of a people. I find it difficult also where we kind of just focus on one aspect of it, of just like, in this perfect country, what would be enforced? When there are so many other things that come into play, education, economy, and sorry, Zach, if you can just turn off your camera, bro. Um,
Sorry,
so
bro.
there
I
are,
forgot.
that's all right. There are things that we need to take into consideration when it comes to that. Yeah, Khalil knows his mic is muted. So
But I
yeah.
was mainly asking because, like, I don't know if you heard couple times when I've been on Harris and Nuria's channel, like Sunday school, I've told them about my cousins. So one of my uncles has 3 daughters, all 3 of which had worn the hijab. The youngest one was actually a Hafiz. She knew the Quran by heart. She knew Arabic. The middle one also knew Arabic. The eldest one didn't know Arabic, but like basically they all studied Islam and the Quran. The youngest one being a Hafiz. And from my perspective, of course, it wasn't really their choice. In that they were kind of influenced over the course of years and their childhood to wear it, starting by wearing it during prayers. For example, their parents and people around them would encourage the girls, oh, how beautiful did you become with the hijab, as they were going to pray, etc. And it always bothered me because at least in our family, like in my family, which are Sunni, the reason why women wear the hijab was to prevent women from becoming sex object, from being objectified in the eyes of men. And it second reason was to prevent men who are non-mahram to respective women to not develop sexual feelings for said woman. And that seems very arbitrary to me because at least my cousins, up until they started menstruating, the hijab was only worn during prayers 5 times a day. And I was, as their cousin, able to kiss them, hug them, have handshakes, etc. And arbitrarily, as soon as they all had their first menstruations, they started wearing the hijab, and all of a sudden I was no longer able to hug or kiss or even have a handshake with the very cousins that I had grown up with, that I taught so much. And it always bothered me. So being against Islam and the hijab, for many years I battled against the hijab and my family's views on Islam and the hijab. And I don't know how much of an influence I had, but after more than 10 years, all of them in the span of 1 year took their hijabs off, starting from the youngest, who was an Arabic speaking Hafiz. Later on, the middle one took her hijab, and very recently, like a week ago or so, the eldest one took her hijab. And my concern is that if, hypothetically speaking, these 3 girls, these cousins of mine, were to find themselves, let's say, in an ideal Sharia law governed country, let's say ideal to you, friend the Muslim, is there anything from your understanding of Islam, the Quran, the Hadith, the Sunnah, etc., that you think would justify people or that particular government to force my cousins back to wear their hijab, even though, by the way, that they are still Muslims?
Yeah, I mean that is something that's a spiritual journey. I think people have their own. Again, there's no religion. So if they feel that they do not want to wear, then that's something that's in their mandate as individuals. Again, this is an interesting comment from Janadine. My spouse is a real Muslim. If he forced me to wear a hijab, I would leave him. You're not an expert on it. So, again, individually speaking, people have their own right to their religion and how they practice it. And obviously, we can encourage um, our views, but again, on Judgment Day, you are also standing alone. So those are for the individuals to make their own decision as to how they feel. And again, I think education is also the key um, on these matters, and I don't think there's enough education sometimes as to both sides of the coin. How women feel, when they are um, not wearing the hijab, and how they feel sometimes that they are objectified, and how they are then a servant to people looking at them, and makeup, and attention, and also the strength in covering up and covering your hair, etc. Also, so I think there's a lot to be said for education on both sides. I mean, for me, I believe in healthy education, and I believe that Islam can also bring people to a certain point. And so I think if they have if they are have access to an education on all sides of things, I think they can make a informed decision on their own also, and weigh up what they feel is their own journey. So yeah, that's how I would kind of place it, and that goes for other religions also. I believe, for me, um, when I read every religion and every position, Islam for me is the position I feel correct in. And I'm under no compulsion at all. I could change religion. I could pretty much, and it wouldn't affect sort of dynamics, friends, people. But I was able to study every different position, and even atheism. Now, I review atheism, and looked at different positions, and it still brought me back to Islam, and I think that's healthy. Also, where you kind of keep on reviewing your position also, or if you're just happy, then be happy where you are. Um, I think obviously people can catch your journey on the friend zone, where we talked about your journey also. So, where it was forced upon you also so heavily, and you weren't allowed to sort of look at all positions, maybe, that brought you to your own conclusions also. And that's made you, in your mind, a better person, and happier. So, um, that's where I feel there is no compulsion in religion. People have to be on an individual journey with it. But yeah.
Let me just add something to that, friendly Muslim.
I wanted to ask you as well. That's good that you
Yeah.
jumped in.
So there are things in Islam that are commandments of Allah for us to do and for us to not do. In Islam, since it's not a compulsory religion, we have the choice to do it. If I wanted to go downstairs and grab my keys and run to the store and grab me a 6-pack of Corona, I could if I wanted to. I have the choice to do that if I really want to. Just like a woman has the choice to take her hijab off. Both of these things are commandments of Allah not to do, not to take the hijab off when you're in public and show yourself, and not to go out and grab a 6-pack of beer and drink it. I have the freedom to do that. My wife has the freedom to take it off. we would be going against the commandment of Allah, but that is our choice. That is our journey, right? My wife refrains from taking her hijab off in public. She actually feels protected by the hijab. I feel as if the hijab is a gift to me, and I feel much better now that I'm not drinking anymore like I was when I was an atheist. And I'm sure if my wife knew me when I was drinking on Sundays watching the Patriots, hooting and hollering around my living room, acting like a zoo animal, I'm pretty sure that it's a gift to her that I don't drink alcohol. So I just want to make that clear.
I mean, so I see what you're saying, but I don't really agree because, yes, for example, even in Iran, women technically have the choice to take their hijabs off. There is no physical impossibility that prevents them from doing so. There are, however, laws which at least the Islamic regime of Iran claims to be Islamic, which gives them the sort of God-given permission to enforce the hijab on women, even if they do not want to wear it. So, for example, would you be able to steal men? The doctrine that, let's say, runs Iran, but particularly with regards to the enforcing of the hijab. Do you think you can steal men their case from their sources, etc., Quranically, from hadiths,
Well, here's the thing: is that's exactly what I would ask them for. Is show me where in the Sharia it is implemented that you should mandate the wearing of hijab. I see where you can show me how the hijab is a commandment of God. The hijab is a requirement of women. But please show me where the Prophet, peace be upon him, mandated all women living under his rule, right? Mandated every single woman to wear the hijab. They won't be able to find it. They won't be able to bring it. That is not Islamic. That is the Iranian government. There's not a single government in existence today that runs pure, full Sharia. There's Sharia with little bits and pieces added to it. It is an innovation, which is against Islam. So I would just ask them to bring me the proof, and to answer Shilnai, I would not approve of my wife taking her hijab off in public, but if that's her choice, that's her choice. I can't stop her. She's an adult. She's her own person. Now, would you approve of someone crapping on the public sidewalk out in front of your house? No, you wouldn't approve of it, but that's not your right to tell them that they can't. That's a public sidewalk. It ain't your property. I mean, come on.
Can't I do a citizen's arrest if somebody is defecating on the sidewalk next to my house? I think I have that right.
I mean, with that mustache, you can do what you want, mate. That's an official mustache. You can do what you want with that mustache, bro. I'll let Khalil get to your point, but I want to also ask you, what do you feel about where people are not allowed to wear the hijab in somewhere like France and India? Do you think people should be allowed to wear it, or in Germany? I think they're not allowing them to. Somewhere else, they were not allowing them to wear their bikinis, basically, or be able to go swimming or things of that nature when they're fully covered. How do you feel about that? But yeah, sorry, you can do the
You're
citizens
asking me, bro?
arrest question. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Like I think I told you in one of our conversations, there were times when I, wanted the hijab to be banned, the niqab, buqab, burqa, jilbab, all of it to be banned. There were times when I wanted to erase all religious people from the face of earth by any means, possible, imaginable. But I've changed my views. I don't support the banning of any religious symbols. I don't agree with the hijab, but I also don't agree with it being outlawed. Not unfortunately for you, for the reasons that you would like me to. It's not because I want hijab to be perpetuated, etc. Honestly speaking, I want to see Islam be gone. And in my view, allowing people to wear their hijab and letting people be free is, from a strategic perspective for me, the fastest way to deal with Islam. If we start, banning stuff, it will, I think, just prolong, all this that at least I am trying to achieve.
Yeah, actually, my wife's hijab has been used for dawah before. There has been a couple sisters that have actually taken their shahada with my wife just by speaking to her about her hijab. Yep. So I can see why Zagros would be like, maybe let's get rid of the hijab because it's perpetrating more people coming to Islam. But I think that your freedom of choice would end up trumping that, right? You would say, well, although the hijab can create new Muslims, I still don't want to take away the right for a woman to choose what she wears.
Yeah, exactly. So, and the thing is, I think we must all acknowledge, like all three of us, that there are indeed many women who are forced to wear the hijab, whether by one mean or another, whether it be from childhood indoctrination. And by indoctrination, I guess we could say, for example, techniques that parents would have employed to make their daughters wear the hijab with arguments that, let's say, are not Islamic or justifiable from the Quran or the Hadith. They just wanted to cover their daughters up without knowing why Islam or Allah wants women to cover up, etc. And they would have done so. Or worst cases, just forcing them without any reason, beating them to wear it, or killing them if they take it off. I think we just need to acknowledge that there is like a wide spectrum. Women who truly, really, with no influence whatsoever from any males coming to, the conclusion that they want to wear it, or women who have been influenced but who still, with their own logic, after all, we are all influenced by people around us. So we just have to acknowledge that there is a spectrum and not disregard all the women who are forced to wear it for real and all the women who are really not forced at all.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting point. Would you also say, and I actually appreciate Zagros for his, his views also, because I think he's changed his position also, and he's also said, look, I've changed my position on a few things, and I think that's something we can all learn from. Um, are we also, do we have a social construct and a social indoctrination from television, advertising, um, TV, all these other influences that we have, where uh, the blonde hair, blue eyes, what is, sorry, Khalil, is what is pretty and what is different body shapes, etc. previously, because I don't think it catered to real women's bodies, and I think also the different shapes and looks that women have also, it was always a very set, you know presentation of what the ideal perfect sized woman needs to be, and that was for years. I mean, if you look back, through the histories of what was being shown, it didn't cater for every single woman. And so are women also part of this social indoctrination where they have to wear this, they have to have the latest makeup, we have to have the latest phone, we have to have the latest everything. These are the looks, these are the trends. Um, because if you go back 100 years, 80 years, women were covered up in the UK, for example, or it'd be very normal for women to have some sort of head covering. um, what are your thoughts about social indoctrination that takes place?
So I'm not a social constructivist in that I don't believe that everything we do is socially constructed, like solely invented with no biological basis. I think there is always these two contributing factors, evolutionary contributors. and cultural contributors. Of course, culture can also be seen like as a phenotype or an extended phenotype and can be interpreted from like an evolutionary perspective. But from what I understand, they try not to do that. Yes, one emerges from the other and so on, but we have to make the distinction. So I think there were evolutionary advantages to garments, to having vestments like covering your head, covering your genitals, covering your body in general, whether it be to protect yourself from weather elements or from bugs, insects, arachnids, or whatever else might be, like from the rough surface of the ground that you may have to sleep on. I think the neural proclivity that may have led us to start, engineering these garments has an evolutionary basis, which may have then led to all sorts of other types of garments, like even the hijab and Khalil's, I don't know what it's called, the head thing.
Kufi.
Kulfi?
Kufi, Kufi.
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 Yeah. So yeah, I think there's an evolutionary basis for everything that we see, which can be then reinforced over the course of generations by culture, whether it be practices, habitudes, or garments, and or sorts of behavior.
Yeah, no, I think there's some various opinions, and I think that's a good thing also for us to have these sort of discussions and catch ups, and it's something that we'll be doing in the future also. So, I think, what time are you premiering your video, Khalil?
It actually premieres in 5 minutes. If you need me to push it back some, I can.
Yeah, maybe 5, and let me just do some housekeeping and shout out. Oh no, you can do it in 5 minutes. That's fine. I'll
Well, okay,
wrap it up.
can I mention something really quick and then I'll shut up?
Yeah, I mean, you can. I mean, you can talk
Okay,
as long
because
as you want. You don't
I
need
just
to.
want to put the cherry on top with this Shilnai guy. So he said, Khalil, have you read Surah Al-Azhab, verse 59? And I went straight to that verse, and it says, "O prophet, ask your wives, daughters, and believing women to draw their cloaks over their bodies. In this way, it is more likely that they will be recognized as virtuous and not be harassed. And Allah is all forgiving, most merciful." And I said, that one, the one that says ask, where does it say mandate? He literally just stuck his foot in his mouth. He's literally just stuck his foot in his mouth with that. We are not supposed to mandate it. We're supposed to ask that our women do these things.
Yeah, he's asking, is the ask the Arabic? Do you want to just double check that on the? He's questioning the ask part of it.
Is this, by the way, the only verse pertaining to women's covering of their head? You are muted.
You're muted. You're muted.
Oh, sorry. So it right there in that verse, it says kul. So kul in the Arabic can be used to, like, well, when it says kul hu Allahu ahad, say Allah is one, right? So it's something for the prophet to tell the people, this is what the commandment of God is, right? It nowhere even in the Arabic says mandated and force women to do this. Nowhere in the Arabic does it say that. So what Shonai just did is he stuck his foot in his mouth because he tried to bring a verse proving that Islam is supposed to mandate hijabs. And he actually did the exact opposite. It just showed us that, yes, this is a commandment from God. Cool. I agree with that. It's a commandment from God. What happens if they don't listen? Then they will have to answer to God on Judgment Day. If I don't listen to God's commandments, aren't I supposed to listen to God on Judgment Day? So if you come from a naturalistic, atheistic, secular perspective, You guys, why are you guys trying to segue right into homosexuality and talk about homosexuality? Isn't that just the same as any other thing? If you're going against the commandments of God, why do you keep making a special category for this whole homosexual thing? I agree with that. Homosexuality is a sin just like drinking or smoking or fornication or adultery or any other sin. It's the exact same. But now we have somebody like Shil Nye, who would normally argue that, trying to segue hijab into a specific little category. No, you have the ability to do whatever you want to do, right? But then at the end, on Judgment Day, you will have to answer to God for the things that you have done wrong. Stop trying to make a special little category to meet your agenda, brother. It just doesn't work. Thank you very much for using this episode for Muslim, Friendly Muslim and myself to properly educate you on what you were ignorant on prior to. I appreciate that.
I have a question for Shil Nye. Are you a younger creationist?
Absolutely not.
No,
He
I'm
was
asking
asking
Shil Nye.
Oh,
he was asking Shil Nye, the science guy. Yeah, so now he's jumped to 434.
Yeah, he jumped to a different topic because he couldn't handle the one that I just answered him on. He has to be like, where am I gonna go? Let's beat our wives.
Okay. All right.
Let's get that. Let's get
okay,
into that.
Friendly.
Sometime.
I'm sorry, Friendly. This is not the hot seat. I'll chill out.
Yeah, let's just relax. It was just a call in.
By the way, Khalil, I understand the concept of the hot seat, but what about the gauntlet? What's the concept of that series?
It's the same thing, brother. It's the same thing. It's together, which Issa's been. He hasn't been at the last couple of them, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But inshallah, next Friday, Issa and myself will be on that one together.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so the hot seats are sort of evolving. Also, we've had some special guests come on, and some topics also being put on the hot seat. So yeah, and whichever fly or mosquito tried to attack Zagros, I want that guy on the hot seat also. I'm not having that. Are you okay, Zagros?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're going to be timing out. Khalil, you just took up a whole 4 minutes. Can you put your Khalil? Yo, blue eyes. See.
I'm sorry, Medina was just giving me some very pertinent information that I'll talk to you about in the back. But yeah, what's up, brother?
Do you want to? I need to do a couple of minutes of housekeeping, basically, for our brother. So if you could move your premiere back by a couple of minutes, or because you took up, you said I need a minute.
I think it's already premiering right now.
Okay, fine, not a problem. Shout out to everyone that joined. We're gonna end this now. Stay on EA Dawa. You're gonna see that TikTok video that you were looking for. Subscribe to Cov FF, Brother Mohammed. We're gonna be catching up with him tomorrow. Also, Brother Haroon will be going live tomorrow morning with his Sundays reflections, basically. So look out for Brother Haroon. And I might be popping up also. And we've got a chill stream also later. But tonight, coming up, we've got Khalil's video right now, and then we've got the hot seat at what time is that, brother Khalil?
8 p.m. Eastern.
8 p.m. Eastern or 1 a.m. UK. We'll catch you there. I've been Friendly Muslim, joined by brother Khalil and brother Zagros. Until next time, assalamu alaikum and peace and respect to you all. See ya.
Salam.